Sentinels obliterated Loud in a thrilling match. It was exciting, but I bet you were as frustrated with a couple of plays like this.
This is gone unchecked.
Or this.
It's gonna have to be a flooded. Pancada knows. Here's the cue. Where's the pop? Pancada on the swing, able to get one on his Elsis, the second on the narrate. That's 3, make that 4!
Things look really shaky at times, didn't they? What does this mean for their run in the VCT kickoff? Looming over the horizon is G2, the Thanos of VCT. What should Sentinels do to take down what looks like the strongest team in the world right now? You've probably got your own thoughts on this, so let's hear them. Drop your predictions, hot takes, or even your wildest theories in the comments below. I've got my own ideas, but here's the real question. Do the boys in red have what it takes to prove they're still the best in the region? After all, they're the last America's team to win a major title. We'll tackle that in this video and more, so stay tuned.
Move on to the time shown on the screen to skip the match recap.
The first map was a tight back and forth battle, but the pivotal point came in round 22. Loud was on a broken bye and the Sentinels was scaling the C site. Cowanzin landed a long-range headshot on second with a freaking bucky. Talk about a miracle shot. Loud rode that momentum and never looked back, closing out map 1 13-11. It was looking rough from the start on Pearl, with Loud building a 6-1 lead. Costly mistakes, missed opportunities, and a lack of synergy kept Sentinels struggling. But second and the team took a collective deep breath, stayed patient, and started showing flashes of their full potential. Their side defenses and retake were sharp and disciplined. Take a look at this incredible retake in round 11. Despite being down 4 versus 5, it's a thing of beauty.
Right, just when you think you have one dealt with, there's something else creeping away. But Sentinels have been able to open this up.
Sentinels managed to recover, closing the half just 2 rounds behind at 7-5. The second half was a tight battle, but in round 22, Sentinels decided they were taking this map. The Sen boys brute forced their way onto B site and it worked. Loud struggled to execute proper retakes with DGSin constantly holding on up. That's something for Loud to think about. But hey, that's a story for another time or another channel, unless people want to hear me make videos about Loud. Second sealed the deal with this unhinged super aggressive play.
He's gonna play this really aggressively on the other side of the smoke. Spotting a good barrel, the snap is magnetic!
They take map 2 13-11. On the decider map, Loud jumped to a 4-0 lead before Sentinels answered with 3 rounds of their own. A key moment came in round 10 when Second pulled off an incredible ace that really sparked their momentum.
And they're going to be dropping it on him. Narrate is close by and he's dead. Much more to be found for Second. He's going to have to ace if he wants to win this out. Make that 4. Can Second deliver? A fake TP and now Second creeping forward. Quietly off the tap too. He's waiting close by. He's sticking it to half. He's gonna stick it all the way. Not able to settle the shots. He finds some time on the swing.
The half ended in a 6-6 tie. In the second half, Bang stepped up as a rock-solid side anchor. With Celsius by his side, they locked down B side for most of the half. Round 16 perfectly showcases Bang's otherworldly intuition.
Bang and Narrate forced to make this conversion happen,
and that's why he's one of the most reliable anchors in the game. Elsewhere on the map, Zeken was the tip of the spear. Despite being on defense, he took calculated stabs at mid and A main, picking off enemies wherever he could. Loud kept it close until round 19, but they couldn't crack Sen's defense as John Cutie and company kept switching things up. In the end, Sentinels suffocated Loud with their defense, closing out split and the series 13-9. While watching the game, I couldn't help but think, if last year's Sentinels were in this situation, I don't think they would have pulled it off. I have nothing but love for Tense and Sassy, but that iteration of Sentinels just struggled to recover once they get knocked down. One match I could specifically remember is their match against 100T on Ascent, where they dug themselves into such a deep hole early on that a comeback was basically impossible. You might say I'm nitpicking here, but it has been a theme throughout last year, and that same problem of digging themselves into an early hole ultimately led to their downfall against Heretics on Abyss at Champions. But this year's team? Man, I think they're built different. You can see it in the way they fight back. Scrappy and ready to get their hands dirty when the game demands it. They might not be the super team that I touted last October yet, but no matter how deep the hole, they always choose to climb back up. Their resiliency stands out on its own. They battle through every disadvantage, grind it out, and live with the results knowing they gave everything. It might sound controversial to say this, especially with last year's roster having Ten and Sassy, but I can't help but have this feeling that this year's team has a resiliency that the previous iterations just didn't have. They're adapting on the fly, making quick adjustments, and doing it all at an incredibly fast pace. It's like they're constantly evolving. And with a team like G2 standing in their way, they're going to need every bit of that resilience. But am I the only one feeling this? Do you see what I see in the Sentinel squad? How do you think they can take down G2? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear how you think Sen can pull this off. So with all this in mind, do you think this is enough to take down G2? You saw their match against Lev, right? They looked insanely strong. For the boys in black, dismantling Lev was light work. They didn't even break a sweat. They looked clean, well drilled, and straight up scary right now. Looking at how Sentinels played against Loud, it's hard to say you can confidently back them up to take down G2 in that form. I'm confident that they'll be able to address the issues we saw, fine-tune everything that needs attention, but what I'm hoping for is that they'll be able to translate it come game time. Trent might be as cocky as lately.
Are you the team to beat?
Yeah, we're the team to beat right now.
Team to beat is G2. Is there any team that you can name right now from any of the other regions that could challenge you, make you sweat a little bit?
Nope.
But that's because they look really strong right now and they know it. It's up to Zekken and Co to step up and knock G2 off their high horse. Dropping down to the lower bracket is a dangerous game. It's like jumping into a sea full of hungry sharks. You've got teams like Crew, who seems to be peaking after eliminating NRG in a convincing fashion, and Aspas's MIBR, who've been hitting their stride recently. Any of these teams is good enough to take down anyone else on a good day. So if Sentinels drop down to the lower bracket and they're not in their best form, they're in for a rude awakening. The fight to stay alive will be brutal. This match has more than one key matchup that could shape the entire series. I bet the matchup you're most excited to see is none other than Zekken vs Jogimo. These two last matchup in Stage 1 of Americas where Jog bested Zekken pretty convincingly. Jog made impactful plays, always one step ahead, while Zekken just kept trying to catch up. Will Zekken get even this time? Has the kid become the man? Will he outshine Jog now that he's casting the brightest shadow? Only time will tell, and you better believe this is going to be exciting. The IGL matchup between John Cutie and Valiant will be fascinating as well, though it might not be as obvious as the other matchups. While there will be aim battles between the two, this one will be all about the mind games, outsmarting each other with on-the-fly macro adjustments and controlling the game from behind the scenes. These IGLs will read each other's moves, anticipate rotations, and set up their team in ways that may not always be visible but will ultimately shape the outcome. But the real X factor to watch out for is Celsius. No direct matchups here, but I believe he'll be the unknown element that ultimately decides this game. Will we see good Celsius or bad Celsius? We saw both sides in the last game against Loud. He started off rough,
Even if he sees 3 here, he's gonna call his team to go A. No, but he whiffed it.
but made up for it with some great plays later on.
What good... What a shot, man.
For this match though, we need to see consistent good Celsius from start to finish. None of those FNS kinds of whiffs. He needs to be clean, precise, and keep the hype alive for the boys if Sen is going to come out on top. I know it's a tough ask, but when you're going up against the Professor and this version of G2, the only answer I can come up with is you need to be as perfect as possible to have any chance of beating them. So what do you think? Can Sentinels overcome the VCT Thanos, or will the villain collect all the VCT's version of the Infinity Stones? The America's Trophy, the Master's Trophy, you know, you get the gist. Let me know your thoughts below. I'm genuinely curious to hear what you think after everything we've seen from both teams so far. Do you believe in the Sentinels underdog story, or is G2 just too perfect right now? It's been a tough road for them, but we've seen them fight like never before. Drop a comment, share your predictions, and let's stand behind them together. This isn't just about winning, it's about proving this new Sentinels roster has what it takes. Time and time again, they've been tested. And each challenge is a chance to show they're more than just a team. They are a force ready to prove themselves. This is their moment. The pressure's on, and now it's time for Sen City to rise. And as Celsius always say,
G2.
that's all for this video. I hope you found it interesting. Whether you liked it or not, I want to know your thoughts. Drop them below, and if you enjoyed the content, tap that like button. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.